What up, Winbush here. And today I want to show you how I created these text graphics for the TV show Knuckles, which I recently got to work on some commercial spots for. And so to get started, we're going to start off inside of Cinema 4D. I have a scene semi set up already. I just wanted to get this out the way. So I have two textures already here. I have my camera set up and I have a dome light that has an HDR in there. Now to move forward, I'm going to come over here on the right hand side where we have this text tool right here. I'm going to left click on this and I'm going to select this one right here. So now that I have my text in here, I'm just going to come down and I'm just going to select the font, which is this outline font here. And then I'm going to come down here into the bottom right under the attributes panel. I'm going to center it up right here in the middle. For depth, I'm only going to make it 2. And then for height, I can make it a little bit larger because I'm just going to do a simple letter for this tutorial example. So for the letter, I could just actually do K for Knuckles like so. So now we have our big K right here in the middle. And now to move on, I want to actually add an extrusion to this. And so what I'm going to do is hold down the control key and then I'm going to left click on this and I'm just going to select it and drag it down. Now I made a duplicate of this text file. Now if I hit the C on the keyboard, you can see that it actually collapsed it. And if I move this down, you can see we have this extrusion with our spline within here. So I'm just going to pull this out. I'm going to delete this. And what I'm going to do with this extrusion is I'm going to extrude this out. And so for my offset under object right here, I'm just going to make this one 65 just to add some extrusion. I could probably go a little bit larger since we're just doing one letter. And then since this is an outline, I want to actually fill this in. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is hold down an Alt key on my keyboard. I'm going to select right here and I'm going to turn off the top part right here. And right here under my extrusion, I'm going to actually come over here, go into my front panel, and I'm going to select this right here, which will be our points. Now what I'm going to do is actually going to come through here. I'm going to pull the K out actually. So I just have this selected right here so that I can see the points, and I'm going to select the points on the inside and then I'm going to delete them. So I'm just going to come through here, select all these points here on the inside. And I actually did this for each letter that you see inside each title card there. This was just a way for me to go through and make sure that I did it the way that I wanted it to come out. So if I come over here back into my panel, now you can see we have a solid letter in here. Now you might be asking, when I come up here to my font, why didn't I just use the non-outline version to do that? And for whatever reason, the outline version didn't properly line up with the solid version. And so I just went through and manually did it. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So I'm going to come out of my camera just so I can see a little bit better. I'm going to turn back on the outline version. I'm going to bring this forward just a tad bit like so. And I actually want to round this out. So if I come down here under cap, I'm going to come over here, pull this up a little bit, come under presets. Then I'm just going to use this one right here, basic rounded, double click on that just to add a little bit of roundedness to that. And that should do it for that. So let me actually come back over, see what happens if I hit 0. There we go. So now we have everything properly aligned. And when we render this out for After Effects, we actually want to have these two be separate objects so that we can composite later back here in After Effects. So in order to do that, first, I'm going to take my textures and I'm going to put the light one on the extrusion there, actually on a bevel there. Then we want to take the dark one, put it onto my back part right there like so. So we have some proper separation in here. And now if I come over here, I'm going to select my top one first, my bevel. I'm going to come on tags, come down here under render. And then right here where it says RS object, I'm going to select this. And right here where it says object ID, I'm going to turn on override and I'm just going to hit 1. And then I'm going to hold down the control key on my keyboard, left click, just select it down here to make a copy. And on this one, I'm going to hit 2. Now, the reason I'm doing this is so I can render out a CryptoMatte that will actually separate these. And so I'm going to come back up here to where it says Redshift. I'm going to come down here, the AOV manager. And right here, I'm going to come down and look for PuzzleMattes. Now I said CryptoMattes, but I meant a PuzzleMatte. So if I come right here to where it says PuzzleMatte, select this in here. And if I select it, right here under mode, instead of material ID, I'm going to do object ID. Now for red ID, I'm going to do 1. And then for green ID, I'm going to do 2. And now when I render this out, it should separate them. And you can actually check that inside the render viewport. So if I come up here to where it says Redshift, I'm going to come down here to RS render view, left select this. Then right here, I'm just going to click on play. I'm just going to hit that right there. So there we go. So now we have it rendered in here. If I come over here to beauty and look under PuzzleMatte, you can see these are what our mattes are going to look like when we bring it into After Effects. So the bevel is red and the green is our extrusion. So now that we know that's properly set up, now we can just go through and actually render this out. But let me actually align this a little bit better so that we're in direct center. So let me move this down maybe something like so, move in a little bit. Since we're only doing one letter, we could do something like this. So let's say that we're happy with this. Now I'm going to come over and I'm just going to render it out, in which if I look at my render settings, I just did format PNG. I'm just going to save it as a 16-bit with alpha channel. And then right here under multipass, I'm going to save it as a PNG 16-bit. And these are going to be our matte layers. So now that we're good with that, I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to hit render. And just like that, it's all rendered out. So we're going to jump into After Effects for this next part, but we're going to need a plugin. But don't worry, this plugin is absolutely free. This one is going to be by Video Copilot and it's called Saber. Now, if you go to Video Copilot's website and you just type in Saber, I mean, it came out a while ago. I don't think they've been updating it, but it does work with the latest version of After Effects. So you want to download this and properly install it. And then I'm going to show you how I use it inside of After Effects to create the effect. So I have After Effects opened right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my PNG file. I'm going to come down here and just bring it into my timeline. And that's just going to bring up our composition here. And then I'm going to take my PuzzleMatte and I'm going to bring it down here underneath. Now over here on the right hand side under effects and presets, I'm just going to type in set. And you should see set matte here under channels. Now with set matte selected, I'm just going to click and drag it onto this PNG. And it should show up inside your effects panel wherever you have it set up. I'm going to scroll this over a little bit so we can see it better. And right here where it says take matte layer from, I'm just going to select this and I'm going to select my PuzzleMatte. Now, when I select this right here where it says use for matte, instead of alpha channel, I want to use the red channel. So now let me actually hide the PuzzleMatte down there. And now you can see we have our bevel right here. So if I actually turn off the background, you can see that we have the transparency here with the alpha channel. So I'm going to make this one red just so we know this is the red channel. And then I'm going to hold down Control, hit D, and that's going to make a duplicate of it. Then I'm going to select the bottom one. And right here under set matte for use for matte, instead of red, I'm going to select green channel. And now you can see we have our extrusion in here. So I'm going to make this one green just to kind of help organize it and everything. So now you can see that we have our layers separated there. So if we wanted to come through and actually change out the levels a little bit on here. So let's say on my bevel, I wanted it to be a little bit brighter. We can actually just brighten it up. And the reason that I like having it separated like that is just so I can have control to further do color correction once I'm inside of After Effects. Like if I wanted this to be a little bit darker, something like that. Now this is looking like how I have it inside the project. So I'm actually going to put the black background back in so we can see it a little bit better. And now to be able to get that electric effect around it, we're just going to come down here. I'm going to right click in my timeline and I'm going to come over to new and I'm going to click on text. Now you'll see empty text in here and I'm just going to type in the letter K and that's just going to match what I have in there. So now if I come down here, I'm just going to line it up, text panel. I'm just going to shrink this down here. And I just want to line this up as good as possible. It might not just match exactly, but just want to make sure you have the correct font and you have it lined up with your bevel. So now that we have it lined up, I'm just going to come down here, hit this eyeball to hide it. And then I'm going to right click, come down to new, and I'm going to make a solid layer in which I'm just going to name this one Saber because this is what we're going to put our Saber plugin onto. Now, when I click OK, you're going to see that it's going to engulf your scene there, which is all right. I'm just going to come back over here to my effects and presets, and I'm just going to type in Saber, and I'm going to select this and drag it onto that layer. So now you see that we have our Saber in here. And the cool thing about it is there's a ton of presets that we're going to choose from. So I'll show you the one that I use and how I had it all set up. But before we do that, we actually want to align this with this text file to let it know that it needs to go along those angles. So over in your effects control panel, you want to come down here to where it says custom core and where it says Saber, you actually want to select text layer. Now with the text layer open, you want to hit, instead of none, you want to select your text file, which is going to be the one that just says K right here. Now you can see that it actually engulfed our K. So if I come over here and just select something different, let's just say Ghostbuster, for instance, now you can see that it's actually engulfing around our K there, in which, let me move this over so we can actually see our timeline a little bit. So if I actually scroll through here, you can see that it's automatically animated right off the bat, just procedurally there. So what I did was actually, if I come over here to preset, come over here to electric, instead of doing a blue, I'm just going to select red for knuckles like so. And then I just went through and I just customized these until I had it the way that I wanted. So real quick for core size, I did like 0.75, somewhere around there. Then for my start size, started off with 75 here, like so. And then for my offset percentage, went with 35 there. Then for the end size, I'm going to put this down to 0. And then for my end roundness, bring this up to 1.0. So this is getting pretty nice, and this is getting to where I actually had it for my project. But the only thing is you can only see the Saber here. So in order to knock the black out here, I'm going to come back down here and I'm going to type in unmult. And if you don't have unmult, it's actually free. You could Google it and find it. But if I just come down here, hit unmult, now you can see that we have the Saber effect going over top of our 3D layer. Now, if you wanted to have this animate all around it, I'm just going to come over here to where it says mask evolution and just start scrolling this through. And you can start seeing how this is actually evolving around our text there, which is exactly how I did it. So I just keyframe this, let's say keyframe right there, and maybe let's move it up 6 seconds. And I'm just going to move this all around, maybe somewhere around there. And then if I hit 0 on my keyboard and just let this do a RAM preview, you can start to see how this is engulfing around our scene here, or not our scene, but our 3D text. So now this is playing back in real time, and you can see how the Saber effect is just engulfing around the bevel, in which this is what we wanted. So this is the basis of how I built out all the text files for the Knuckles commercial for the TV show on Paramount Plus. So hopefully this helped you out. I know as I'm working on like TV shows and movies, I like showing different techniques that I came across to be able to do some of the work that I do. So hopefully showing this to everybody out there, this will help you out for some of the projects that you might be on. And if it did help you out, make sure you leave a comment down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. And until next time, stay fresh, keep creating, and I'll catch you in the next video. I'll see you soon. Take care.